Hey, fart face, you know what time it is? Time for a fucking haul. In fact, why don't you drag on them wrinklies, put them on the table, because you're about to get a Woody for all this jazz I got going on.
The shit. What the shit are wrinklies?
I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, bro. I'm going crazy over here. Crazy with fucking purchases.
Yep.
Because it's time for another haul. This time, a bunch of fucking Blu-rays that I got.
Wrinklies.
Courtesy of some last-minute action figure sales. I'm strapped. I'm done.
Yep.
But anyway, I did get some
What
good
did they
ones.
note that you decided to get all these movies instead of a decent sound system?
Yeah, and a connection that I need for the internet.
Yeah.
So that was stupid. But I did get some savings again, so that's a plus.
Yeah, you went to Savers?
I did not, because that's a piece of garbage, but I did manage to get a good prices on all of these, and they're great flicks that I needed anyway. The first one, of course, you gotta mention is this Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
One of our favorite fucking Halloween movies, especially when it comes to the series. But yeah, man, this is just a great series. It's got Tom Atkins. This is the 4K remastering, so I can't wait to see how good that looks. Watch it look like crap.
Yeah.
And this is a steelbook. I hate steelbooks. They look great, but one, they're made of steel, so they're bound to rust.
I kind of like that.
And I hate this grip, man, on the disc
this?
on the disc tray. I hate it. It's so hard, and it feels like it's ripping the damn disc in half.
I like that.
Yeah, it's all right. I really like the art on the steelbook, though. I don't have the disc in there because I don't want it to be torn asunder. Anyway, that was one thing. Next, 30 Days of Night, one of my favorite vampire flicks. Pretty awesome. Great adaptation of the comic book. Kept that weird style, too. Well, as best as it could without looking like a complete mess of art.
Murdering people to make them look hideous.
Also has a massive ass chainsaw vehicle in it, so I'm all for that. I don't know what you thought about this movie, but I love it, man. It reminds me a lot of like a Carpenter flick.
I must have liked it because I picked up the book. I do remember liking the book more, though.
That's a designator of you liking stuff.
Me buying, yeah, so I must have liked it.
Here's one that a lot of people were iffy on, but I quite enjoyed it, despite the fact that Pompidou's in it.
Yeah.
And that's Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton one. I actually really like this movie quite
Pompidou's
a bit.
in it.
I don't know what you thought, but I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It was alright. It wasn't what people are saying, garbage,
Yeah, it's definitely not
Pompidou's in it, so.
Next, I was really glad to find this, and that's The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2. Unrated versions, because, well, it's 2 for 1. This was $10, so that's a win. And really, what I wanted was part 1. Part 2's alright, I guess, but part 1's really where it's at.
It's got Flex Alexander in it.
Yeah, that's a fucking thing. Flex, man.
For the hit show 1-on-1.
Next is the Alien Quadrilogy. This is a must-have, of course, and most especially because it's got the alternate cuts of Alien and Aliens, and the other ones too. But more importantly, Alien and Aliens. Which, man, Aliens alone just looks amazing in that different cut. And, of course, got the more nihilistic Alien director's cut. Great. I don't know, man. Can't go wrong with the Aliens.
Box is a little wrinkly.
I don't give a shit about the box. You know what they say? They said that this was used, so it was super cheap. But you know what? When I opened it, brand new, still had the seal and everything. Guess nobody wanted to see American Mary, which is a shame because... this is actually a really good movie, man. And it's from the Soska sisters, which are making kind of an imprint in horror themselves. A couple of twins. I think they're twins. They're creepy looking chicks is what I'll get at.
Did you hit them?
But I definitely hit it. They're weird looking, though. But they're like on that brink of like, are they hot? And then you look at them longer, you're like, man, they're not hot. But they're awesome. But I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're always confused.
Yeah.
But this is a really fantastic movie. Kind of like a revenge film, but mixed with this gruesome horror edge and almost kind of like a black comic angle to it at the same time. Really good movie, man. And it harkened the return of Catherine Isabel to horror, because
finally.
She kind of was kind of like the big scream queen coming when she did Ginger Snaps and a bunch of smaller horror in the early 2000s. But then she denounced it, and everybody in horror turned against her. They were like, what the fuck, bitch?
Yeah.
Horror made you. Then she tried other stuff and failed, and then she's like, "Oh wait, horror loves me, right?" Well, thankfully they do again because of movies like this.
Hater.
This movie had a lot of haters, but we certainly weren't one of them. And
That's circle on it.
As Above, So Below.
Yeah.
One of the better found footage flicks from a couple of filmmakers, some brothers, that have impressed me before with movies like the Poughkeepsie tapes, which, man, I gotta get that. That shit is fire. But yeah, this is great, man. This is a pretty cool fucking movie, as we mentioned in our review of it. Check that out. Awesome. I know you like this one quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Hell.
Next, we got a series that we've been watching, and now is unfortunately canceled.
Yeah.
And that's Ash vs. Evil Dead, the continuation to the Evil Dead series of films. Bruce Campbell, what can you say? It's no going wrong there.
Need to watch the last season.
Yep. But so
cover
far,
ain't
so
great.
good. Yeah, this cover's fucking shit, but, you know, it's fucking Ash.
They don't even have the Anchor Bay thing on it. It's just the stars now.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Next is the most recent Blair Witch sequel, which I know was kind of divisive, but I thought actually did justice to the original while bringing in new elements into the mythology. You know, it's not breaking any new ground or territory, but I thought it was a respectable sequel. And I actually like the Part 2 sequel too, which, you know, so there you go. Despite its flaws, I like that, and I like this. And, you know, it's better than watching somebody's booger drip onto your camera, so there's that.
Oh, yeah, you hate the first one. I forgot.
I don't hate it. It took me a while to really understand why. Now, I do hate covers like this. The fucking 2-film collection. Hate that shit, man. Just make the cover look good, man. I get it. There's 2 movies. But I had to get it because it's a cheap way to get both Conjuring 1 and 2, which are
To be fair,
awesome.
To be fair, the cover for Conjuring 1's pretty awful, too.
Yeah, but, I mean, anything beats this stripe that says 2-film collection. Like, come on, man. And then the back's all white and shit. This is a horror movie, man.
Are you hating on white people now?
Well, where'd you
white
get that?
boxes?
White boxes, yeah. Hating on white boxes, but not hating on white folk. Clear that up, you asshole. Why would you drag me through that mud?
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mixed
But
it
anyway,
up in my head.
yeah, Conjuring 1 and 2, starring white people, which I love. Now I gotta clear that up thanks to your stupid ass. But anyway, I do hate this
The nun's white, though.
this fucking bullshit cover. But again, good cheap way to get both of them. Can't beat that. Crow, yay, $2, man. Come on, man. Can't beat that. What is there to say about this movie other than it rocks?
He's a white guy.
All right, we gotta stop with that.
He has a white face.
Yeah, he does. So if Jason Momoa had been the Crow, he would be wearing whiteface.
Yeah. I think
Controversy?
He does kind of look like visually.
Like what?
Like he would fit into.
He does kind of look like visually statement.
He would look like he would fit in that role. Like with
I think
the makeup.
He's
too buff, but
yeah, he's too big.
But if the makeup was applied properly, it would look pretty cool.
I suppose.
Of course, that movie's never gonna be made because it's cursed.
No. Yeah, if he would have lost some bulk, he would have. But yeah, maybe like Momoa from a few years ago.
Wow, he was hideous back then.
He's the same looking guy.
Nah, his face looked weird back then. Now he's pretty hot guy.
Now,
like I'm not even gonna lie.
Post Khal Drogo, he's all hot to everybody.
Not gonna lie, if I were a lady, I'd let him bang me.
That's fucking gay, bro.
Yeah.
And not in the cool Freddie Mercury way. That's just straight up you want butt boned.
It's not Angelo gay, it's Scat Bros gay.
Yeah, it's Scat Bros gay. Speaking of Scat Bros, this movie was made in Australia. No, it wasn't. It wasn't made in Australia.
This is the worst segue.
But this is a movie made by Fede Alvarez, who did, of course, the Evil Dead remake. I haven't seen this yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it. I mean, it's across the board beloved, and I don't see myself not liking it, so I took a gamble on that, especially because it was $250, so I can't beat that.
I mean, it could be free.
It could be free, so I guess that would beat it. Speaking of almost free, Godzilla, yay! The 2014, right?
Yeah, cutest Godzilla ever.
Cutest Godzilla ever. Awesome movie. Yeah, I don't care even that they cut away from him every fucking shot. That only makes me want to see him more. And when I do get him, I want to 69 him. Kaiju style.
Tiniest guy, 69, a massive lizard ever.
Yeah, that's what they call me. Tiny guy, 69 lizards. In prison, I guess. I was known for 69 lizards. Speaking of lizards, I'm sure a few mutants are lizards, and this is
God, these segues.
this is the X-Men Beginnings trilogy. You know, the prequel series of movies. Yeah, man. I've been wanting to see these back to back. I started yesterday, and I finally rewatched First Class with fucking
the subtitles.
Subtitles, and not half dead, because when we saw it, I'd been awake for 3 days. And man, I realized exactly. I already knew this from the first watching when I was half dead, but I realized exactly how well these movies complement the old series. They really add a lot of substance and meaning to the stuff that was already there. So I know we kind of look down sometimes on some of the old series, us too. But
First one's a standard.
they really interwove they really managed to set up something that interweaves with what is already there and adds a lot more meaning to the things that have already happened in those movies that were before it.
I think the best thing about First Class is that it expands on Magneto.
Yeah, and it really does wonders with his character, with Mystique. It gives motivation to what we see glimpses of in the previous installments, which are follow-ups to this. But yeah, man, I was really fascinated. This is a good example of prequels that, at least for the most part, that add to what is already there in a substantive way. But anyway, I want to see them back to back to back to really get a feel for them as a unified thing. So that was cheap. So, get that. Of course, you got me this. Suspiria. And, what is there to say? I love this fucking movie. I had to get this. It's a 4K remastering with a bunch of features. The movie alone would have been a selling point, but that it has all that extra stuff is pretty cool.
Ghouls.
Yep. Next, speaking of ghouls, we got Ghoul Barker's Ghoul Breed.
Yeah, it's a pretty ghoul movie.
This is Nightbreed, man. The Cabal cut, or the director's cut, if you will. This movie garnered quite a cult following. It was a horrible failure at the box office. This was Clive Barker's follow-up to Hellraiser, based on his book Cabal, and it was supposed to be a 2-part movie, and it failed, so we only got the first half of the story. But even then, the producers made him cut it down to, I think they cut out like 40 minutes of movie, and they made him alter scenes and switch scenes out. So what we got was a cut version, which I actually quite enjoyed because that was all we had, and it was still pretty cool. But this is the definitive cut, and it is pretty damn great, even though it has that one scene, man, where there's like a cabaret sequence and one of the characters is singing there at the cabaret, and it's like, dude, we have to hear the whole song?
Yeah.
And she's fucking terrible singer? But anyway, that scene aside, this is a great cut, man. This is a great example of, new director's cut with over 40 minutes of new footage.
It's basically DC movies before.
Yeah. Coincidentally, Warner Brothers.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, speaking of DC and Warner Brothers.
Oh!
I had to get this,
a good
man.
segue.
The 5-film DC collection, including, of course, Man of Steel, Ultimate cut of Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad Extended Cut, Wonder Woman, and Justice League maimed version. But, unlike most people, we were actually big fans of the DC offerings up to this point. Justice League being probably the weakest because of what happened there. But
I wish it had the fan cut.
Yeah, that would have been great. But you know what? It was fun for a while, and I guess we'll see what the future brings. Hopefully something good as well. But we really like Zack Snyder's vision as it was going, and unfortunately it'll never be completed. But this was a good deal, man. At $10 a pop. Can't beat it. Can't beat Mamito like I will to Russell Crowe.
God damn.
As Robin Hood. This is like the 1 million. How many Robin Hood movies can you make?
Yeah, there's another one coming.
And
yet again, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, that's the thing with Robin Hood movies. Besides the fucking Kevin Costner one, has anyone ever actually been a huge hit? Maybe the Errol Flynn ones back in the day, but that's about it. Anyway, this wasn't a hit.
No.
But it is Russell Crowe. Well, you know what? I've grown to like Russell Crowe quite a bit.
I mean, he's a butthole, but
he's a butthole.
Can't sing.
Don't get me wrong. I liked roles he played, like in Gladiator. Obviously, Maximus is awesome, but he always struck me like a complete ass.
Yeah.
But time has kind of.
It's just because Noah.
Yeah, Noah did a lot for me to like him. But I'm interested in this one because Ridley Scott is one of my favorite filmmakers, and I'll watch anything he makes. And even when people criticize his shit and tear it down, I end up usually loving it. So I'm hoping that's the case with Robin Hood. That's what I'm calling it, just so it won't be another Robin Hood movie. Plus, it's got Kate Blanchett, so I like that.
You can shoot your arrow into her quiver.
Oh, I'll slide that arrow in. I went with slide instead of shoot. It sounded kind of gross. But anyway, speaking of gross, we got the Saw movies, which are renowned for being gross.
That's the worst.
We got all Saw up to Jigsaw. Unfortunately, Jigsaw's included in this. I guess if you're going to knock them all out, might as well at once, right? And it was cheap for the whole collection, and inexplicably has both Blu-rays and DVDs.
Cool.
A bit of overkill there, chaps.
Yeah.
Could have just included one.
You want to include a freaking laser disc while you're at it?
Now, I did get this one, mega cheap. 2, came with a free laser disc. 3, unrated cuts, which is what I was going for. But anyway, next, Silent House movie with Elizabeth Olsen, directed by the people that directed Open Water, that shark movie. And this was, this was a really good movie, man. I actually really enjoyed this flick in the sense that though it's familiar and somewhere along the way you just kind of figure it all out and you're like, okay, but it doesn't lose its tension and it doesn't lose your attention towards the film at all. And that's kind of hard to do. If you figure something out, you're like, okay, this is where this is going. For it to not lose you despite that, that's an achievement on its own. Also, they shot it in a very interesting way. It seems like a single take. You're literally following her around the whole time. And, the cuts and edits are very seamless. I only noticed like a couple that were obvious, but yeah, it was good. And really, this is a movie that is carried by her. If she wasn't as good as she is at selling everything, the movie would have not been as good. But it was surprisingly good despite its predictability. I actually really enjoyed this. I was kind of surprised by that.
Was there any sharks in it?
There are no sharks in it, but that would have been for a good movie too. Just walking around, land sharks.
Speaking of sharks,
we got a couple of pornographic weirdos. What? I don't know where I was going with that. But this is Sin City, the recut extended version of the movie. Again, cheap, used but cheap. That's why it was cheap.
Pornographic weirdos?
Yeah, it was. I don't know where I was going with it. Bad segue, I guess.
Did you know Ron Swanson is in this?
Oh yeah, who is he?
He's one of the goons in the alleyway, Schlub or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's
fucking
weird
Ron
looking.
Swanson,
when you look at him, you're like, oh man, it's Ron.
Now, of course, Robert Rodriguez is one of our heroes. Frank Miller is that weird guy that you just kind of have to like, even though he'd probably kill you. And pretty sure he's he's definitely like an extreme right wing guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a little racist.
Yeah, there's no denying that. He's a weird cat. But you know what?
He seems cool with Mexicans.
Yeah, he worked with the Mexicans, so I guess maybe he's not entirely bad. But anyway, he's a weird cat is what we're saying. But this movie was really cool, man. Robert Rodriguez, very faithful adaptation of the comics. Still a classic. And here, of course, in the uncut version, which is neat.
With Ron Swanson.
With Ron Swanson, which is the winner. And then I got this Canadian...
That's good.
Blu-ray, which is probably why it was cheap.
Is it region free, I hope?
But it also includes... Yeah, it is. Includes the Blu-ray 3D, if in case I ever...
Oh, cool, dude.
Get that, which
we gotta adopt that dead technology.
Yeah, man. We'll do that. Never. But yeah, man, this the sequel, which is not a... it didn't gain any steam in the box office. People did like it. Critics did like it. But I think, one, they waited too much time in between movies. And two, they put the movies that they put should have really reorganized into the proper order. And it would have been a more succinct and tight picture. But since the cooler stories are all in this one, these filler stories in between and after kind of seem a little bit subpar comparatively. But you know what I really want is a cut where they put everything in order. That would be interesting. But either way, it's great. Of course, visually awesome. All that jazz.
It's got Josh Brolin.
In
his 1 billionth comic book role.
Dude, that guy is in so many comic book movies. One of them, Jonah Hex, unfortunately. But next is Two Girls That I Want to Bone, the movie.
2 Girls, 1 Cup?
And that is Tina Fey and Amy Poehler in Sisters.
2 Bones, 1 Disc? Wait, what?
What?
2 Girls, 1 Disc is what I meant to say.
2 Girls, 1 Disc. Why is there this huge stain on her?
It's clearly semen.
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this little picture here. I like their first offering together, Baby Mama, and this was a cool follow-up. John Cena as a Pazuzu was pretty cool in it. Yes, that's his name in it.
Pazuzu.
This was pretty cool, man, and it was really kind of neat to see them kind of play against types.
I want to bring attention to the weird way they did the barcode in the back.
What the hell?
Like
yeah, that's a lot of space for the barcode. Maybe it had a slip cover at some point.
I hope so.
Anyway, that still wouldn't explain why I had that massive space. Speaking of massive spaces, that's how much you have to make room for Melissa McCarthy to fit into.
God.
This is a big woman that I love.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I would hit it.
I'd hit it, and I laugh at almost everything she does.
Yeah.
I know she's had some duds, but you know what? When she hits it right, she hits it right. And this is one of the ones where she hits it right. This is not only a funny movie, but it's actually a great send-up of spy movies.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good send-up of spy movies.
It's got the tick in it.
It's got the tick in it. That was weird. But but yeah, man, this was actually pretty good. I was surprised at how funny this was and how... I know
Al
Smith's going to hate that because Paul Feig directed it. Here's something that nobody should hate, and that's David Koepp's Sterveco's adaptation. You know, from the Richard Matheson story, starring Kevin. My bacon is everywhere. Bacon, and by bacon I mean penis.
That's his whole name.
This is just a fantastic horror film, man.
Is that penis?
Really good movie that kind of went unnoticed for a long time. I think now it's finally getting the audience it deserves. It doesn't have his penis in it. At least not that I remember. But you know what? Maybe I was so distracted by the quality of the movie that I just forgot his penis was in it.
If it has no bacon penis, I'm not interested.
It's penis or nothing.
Yeah.
It's penis on the... Why did I bring Sucker Punch? I've had that for a while. Probably because it was next to this. And that's Underworld 1, which I actually greatly enjoyed. Now, I had the option, because since these were so cheap, I had the option to get plenty of the other ones. But I haven't seen anything past Part 3.
And Sony.
And Part 2, although I enjoyed it, I was like, I can wait on that.
And Sony.
But I did have to get Part 3, which is actually a prequel to Part 1, because I really love Part 3. Or, I guess it's by default actually Part 1. Whatever. You get what I'm getting at. So that was cool. Next. Machete. Do I have to explain this? Badass Mexican.
It's got Danny Trejo.
Masked men.
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo? Yeah, that's the badass Mexican.
Yeah, I know. Danny Trejo.
Steven Seagal in a role that doesn't suck.
Oh, it does suck, but sucks intentionally.
Yeah, sucks intentionally, which is the best way to do it. Jessica Alba. I mean,
digitally naked.
Digitally naked. Unnecessary digital nakedness. And, of course, it's from Robert Rodriguez. My boy. Next. Now, I got the sequel to this last time. And I was like, damn it, I didn't get the first one. So, yeah, it was like 1 cent. So, I picked it up. And, yeah, pretty funny, man.
Is it hilariously funny from beginning to end?
I'd say so, yes. And there's also some penises in it, so that would please you.
Shit, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not Kevin Bacon. No, nobody of renown. There's just kind of background peni.
Oh, man. I was hoping it was...
That's a good band name.
I was hoping it was Genghis Roundstone.
Nobody, well, I won't tell you till you see it. Anyway, next was Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, you finally got the Scat Bros movie?
What? How'd you get Scat Bros from this?
Because the guy looks like the guy in that movie.
Oh, so vague. Anyway, yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. This is the 78 Philip Kaufman directed version. My favorite version of the story. Has one of the best endings ever.
Scat Bros.
Definitely not a movie you want to watch if you don't have an attention span. That's for damn sure.
It's very slow.
But in a good way.
PG.
And yeah, man, this is just one of the greats of sci-fi horror.
It's chilling and thoroughly scary.
And it's got motherfucking Spock in it. This cover sucks.
Oh, Spock? From Star Wars?
I will say it confused me because it came with a bunch of alien mini posters.
Which your alien quadrilogy didn't come with?
Yeah, what the fuck?
So that makes sense.
I don't understand why it came with it. I mean, they're alien movies technically, I guess. And finally, and this is the only movie I actually paid money for, because these were all like a cent. This one I had to pay $34 for, but it's worth every penny. And that's John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness, his ode to Lovecraft, one of his most underappreciated films. And the 4K transfer on this, can't wait to see it. I love this movie, man. This is one of my favorites.
You know, it's a thinking person's horror. Damn
Stop.
it! You
Stop reading the
I
blurbs,
was reading
man.
the blurb. I'm trying to sound smart.
You're not. Sound like shit. Also, it has what's his face from Ghostbusters 2.
Janos?
Fucking Vigo.
Oh, I thought Janos.
No, nobody cares about
I got
Janos.
excited for a second.
I will say Janos has a better career than Vigo.
Yeah, that's true.
Vigo was pretty much like in this, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And he's in it for like a second. He's a guy at a bar.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool.
That's good.
Anyway, that fucking Vigo is not the point of this movie. The point is this movie kicks ass. Got a bunch of great features. New audio commentary from John Carpenter, which is good because his old audio commentary, he was just describing the movie.
Oh, that's good.
And not in an interesting way. Like I recently listened to the Lord of Illusions commentary, but Clive Barker was describing the events as a writer would.
Yeah.
So he gave you insight into his thinking process as a writer. Carpy, man.
He's just like
When it came to the
silence, and then they describe a scene
yeah, when
for
it came,
an hour and a half.
Yeah, his old commentary for this and his old commentary for vampires. Oh my, woo!
Would you say?
So in this scene, this guy's entering the door, and that happens.
Was there any like fake laughs thrown in there?
No, he sounded like he didn't want to be there.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm interested to hear this new one because it's not just him; it's also Sandy King Carpenter, and it's got a bunch of cool ass features, man. Oh man, it also has it has the original audio commentary.
Oh shit, might be worth.
Yeah,
Popping in.
he was with the cinema. Oh yeah, I remember that, dude. The commentary for the original, which is included in this, it's him and his. Oh my god, this is actually a cool reason to hear it. It's him and his cinematographer, and I don't know if he was just pissed that day or if they had some bad blood between them. But Carpenter was just describing what was going on, and the cinematographer every now and then tried to inject some, knowledge about the production, some anecdote, and Carpenter would just shut him down.
Oh man.
And the cinematographer seemed like a vivacious type, like, spunky even, like, oh, and this, and Carpenter would be like, yeah, anyway, this right here, the guy's moving 1 inch. I'd be like, oh man,
That's good.
and yeah, if that guy didn't come out of that commentary going, man, my life sucks,
Yeah.
and I don't know what, but anyway, great movie despite the original shitty commentary. Anyway, that's my little Blu-ray haul. What do you think?
It's pretty good. It's really long.
That's a lot of flicks.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
Anyway, tell us what you think. Hit like, share, subscribe, those notification buttons, because we're out.